better stop eating those ho-hos. And instead, we're over there saying, can you give us some Phenermane? I want to fit in this dress next year, but instead of working out every day and burning, I'm going to just go get me some diet pills and some Spanx. Because we would rather get something that makes us immediately feel better on the outside than starting to allow God. Because I'm going to tell you something, it ain't easy. When in 2006, when I was going through my hell, oh my gosh, I was the only person in my family that could not keep a marriage. I ran every man off with my big mouth. I did. Drove them to drink. Because I was in this place where I was raised in a religion that told me that women were less than, and that if you get divorced, you're going to hell on a slip and slide. And then I find myself in this season where I am not going to be like every other woman. Like, I remember watching my mother. She would get up and my dad would just put his glass on the table and like this, and she would get up and run and go get him water. And I'd be sitting there saying, get your own water. Because see, what happens is the enemy begins to take you out and set you up at a young age. Because he knows if you can get to a place where you don't know your order in a family and you don't know your order in life, then for the rest of your life, you'll be walking around saying, I don't need no man. I don't need I can do this all by myself. Feminist here. And no, when you get to a place, honey, I'm just testify. I can tell you, I'm a relationship expert. I'm going on TBN this month, and my whole thing is relationship expert. It's the funniest thing ever. Because in the church world, when you get divorced, you go to hell. Like, you'll never be used to God. But what's so cool about it is whenever God comes on the scene, he begins to give you restitution and said, I saw you get better and not bitter. I saw you put yourself in time out for 6 years and let me begin to heal your body. I watched you take a 360 shift in your life. You helped me when you wanted to give up. You didn't give up. When the world was talking about you on social media, you just lived so nobody believed it. And I was able to vindicate you at that moment. And I remember in 2006, man, I found myself in a bush, and I'd been married for 17 years, and I was devastated. The devil is so funny because he can't touch this. Like, we are oftentimes blaming the devil. We like, the devil after my car. No, you need an oil change. The devil's after my marriage. No, you need to hush. The devil's after. No, most of the time, if we take ourselves and stop blaming the devil for everything and our mom and daddy for everything, then he can start fixing you. And I can tell you something. I was a devil chaser for a long time. Now he's so scared of me, he looks under his bed to see if I'm under there. I don't give that fool no credit for nothing, because I got the same power that raised Jesus from the dead living on the inside of me. You can't touch this. You can't touch my kids. You can't touch my car. You can't touch my church. You can't touch this. But I'm going to tell you something. You don't get there until you've been rock bottom. Some of you have been fighting the rock bottom. Some of you need to take your tail to rock bottom and begin to allow God to get you at rock bottom, so you really find out who God is, and you only find him when you've hit rock bottom. I had gone to church, falling out. I even had my graceful fall. I would fall out, raised on the church pew every single week. Got up at World Harvest, and God gave me great favor. And I was at World Harvest, and I would get up there and sing, you provide the fire, I'll provide the sacrifice. And I didn't no more feel nothing I was singing, because I learned how to play church. I learned how to pick my Spanx up and walk around like I had it all together, knowing on the inside I couldn't breathe. Knowing on the inside that every night I would go cry myself to sleep. Every night I would go over there and beg God for something, and he's over here saying, I can't do nothing with you because you won't really surrender everything. You're over here praying for red flags, Kimberly, and I'm giving you red flags, and you're ignoring the red flags. Then you're praying for God to heal relationships that I'm not even in. I need you to get to a place where you're willing to lose it all. We create storms and get mad when it rains. We create these storms in our life because of disobedience. And 1 ounce of obedience will do more for you than all the prayer in the world. Sometimes we just need to be obedient. We need to stop looking on social media at what everybody else is doing. It's a lie. Pictures lie. And we're over here watching all these people look like their lives are perfect. You're over here watching this woman that's the same age as you. She's got 5 books. You've had one book you've been trying to finish for 5 years. Y'all are the same age. She just wrote all these books. She just had twins. And now she's on Destin Beach in a bikini, looking like she just got snatched all over again. And you're over here saying, I am still trying to get my back boobs off from little Johnny from 22 years ago. And so you're beginning to compare your life. And then, holy cow, she comes on the next day and puts up a picture of her husband. And you're like, ah! She's got the perfect weave. She's got the feather eyelashes, the mink ones. Her body is snatched, honey. Like, she literally is perfect. And you're like, God, on the day you created her, you were bored slap. You just gave her every perfect thing. And now she gonna walk out with her husband, and her husband looks like he stepped out of GQ, and mine looks like he stepped out of DQ. Comparing your life. Comparing your life. Comparing your image, trying to make what God's, he's created. If you walked in this room on a New Year's, he's given you a special DNA fingerprint, baby. You ain't like nobody else. You ain't like nobody. There ain't nobody that can do what you do. There ain't nobody that can change and be a game changer like you gonna be. Oh, you thought that he forgot about you, but you thought because the curtain had closed, the production was over. He said, I had to close the curtain in order to set up for the next scene. I got you. I got you over here in the silent seasons when you can't, you think I can't hear you. I've been cultivating some things. I've been stripping some things off of you. I've been detoxing you. I've been making you get to a point. Oh, they stopped liking your statuses. They stopped calling you. They stopped texting you. All of a sudden you found yourself all by yourself, and you're over here trying to uncover yourself and fit into other places. You've church hopped. You've done this. You've done that. And oh, God's over here saying, I just need you to get alone, because in the season I'm taking you into, I need you to be clear-headed. I need your heart to be right. I need you to have all outside influences away from you. But we don't want to put in the work. Trying to stabilize what God's shaking us free from. Praying for open doors and won't take our hand off the doorknob. We just need some comfort. We'll take a little bit of terrible comfort. We would rather stay in relationships where they abuse us and talk ugly about it and never tell us how. There are some people that ain't telling you how awesome you are because they don't even know how to love themselves. And your dependency is on them and instead of God. And they ain't giving it to you. So every day of your life, when you wake up, you've made a God out of people. And now you find yourself over here. I can't even hardly get up out of my bed, because you know why? You ain't got nobody breathing life into you. There's always somebody, even if it's a faraway mentor that you can't touch. You pray for miracles in your life, and God usually brings a person to deliver it. He'll bring somebody that looks at you and stirs up a giant. Something that flame's been, it's almost out. It's just like one of those gas fireplaces that still flicker, and you still see the little light going, but it ain't burning, because all you gotta do is flip the light switch on and the fire starts coming. But right now you've been just in that flickering stage. But something's gonna happen in this room today. You're about to be ignited. You're about to realize that I don't need what I thought I needed to get where I'm going. I just needed to, I see what you're doing now, God. These growing pains ain't easy. Oh, they ain't easy. In 2006, when I lost everything, I lost a $500,000 house. I lost a Mercedes. Symbols were my God. I had bloody bottoms on and Gucci handbags, and oh, I was feeling, in 2006, honey, 36 years old, and I literally was banking. Because the enemy a lot of times will allow you to keep doing something over here because he don't want you to get over here. He gonna give you a lot of money decorating. I started decorating and started my own company. Told people I could make drapes, and they believed me. They didn't know the whole time I was just a middleman. And so the enemy was allowing me to flourish in that, because he knew that if I ever got myself... See, the enemy ain't fighting you because you're weak. He's fighting you because you're strong. Because thieves don't rob empty vaults. You're over here, God, take this off of me. I can't handle this. Did you know if God brings you through to it, He gonna bring you through it? Did He know before you were ever even a thought in your mother's womb that you were gonna make some of the mistakes and go down the detours that you made? And He still said, I called you, I chosen you. You're gonna go down some wrong places, but those wrong places are gonna give you a bestseller. So I'm gonna let you go your way for a while. I'm gonna let you run 5 men off. I'm gonna let you have those abortions. I'm gonna let you go bankrupt. I'm gonna allow you to go through these things, because then you're going to have some empathy inside of you. If you wouldn't have gone through these things, you would have been like every other church person in the world, judging everybody. But oh no, now you know where God's brought you from. And when you know where God's brought you from, and He puts the love down in your heart that only a crisis can give you. The storm that you created that you thought was going to take you out, look at you making it. You better pat yourself on the back and throw yourself a party, because the world gave you a reason to give up, but you got back up again. You were a little tarnished and a little angry and a little bitter, but oh, you knew, oh, I made it. I'm crawling. Some of you are watching people on Facebook saying, oh, and you're like, I'm crawling. I'm crawling. Nobody knows what I'm going through right now, but I'm crawling. I don't feel like I'm running, but baby, you're moving. 1 foot, even if it's a snail motion. Even if it feels like a turtle stuck in peanut butter, man. You like picking that leg up and moving. I'm going to walk out the process. And in 2006, I found myself at this place, and I'd been at Rod Parsley's church at 21 years old, and I was singing for his praise team, and he had seen the call of God that's on my life that I'm walking in right now, but I didn't see it. And so he started telling me one day, he said, girl, he said, you I see you looking at that piano boy. You better not marry that piano boy, because he's a detour to your future. And in the middle of the night, I was like, bye, Felicia. And I got up and walked out and did my thing. And for 17 years, because of an act of disobedience, I began to walk in a circle. I began to walk in the trap of rebellion, because I had this thing on me where you couldn't tell me nothing. I was going to make it, and I didn't need nobody to help me with it. I had walls around my heart that were so big that I couldn't let nobody in. And I remember in that season for 17 years, I probably stayed a lot longer than I should have. Abuse came in, and we were both preachers' kids. And you know, in the church, you can't really tell nobody where you're at. You know, you dying and you're falling apart in a million pieces, but you can't really go and ask anybody for prayer, because they might talk. So we end up going to church and worshiping, but we never have the accountability that we really need, because we're afraid if they know I'm not really together, they're going to sit me down and take me out of my position. And so that's where me and him were. And over time, alcoholism, because there is a thing in your life called generational curses. This is why when you know better, you better do better. This is why whenever you got something running in your bloodline, you better be very careful, because the enemy's going to use that one defect in you and get you. And that thing could have been laying dormant forever until 30 years old. And then you go through a hard season and start picking up some liquor. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're walking around with a water bottle full of liquor, full of vodka, because you can't make it through any of the season that you're in, because you played church, you sang on platforms, you were in ministry, you were in all of these places. But now when you get to this place where you feel all by yourself and a secret sin is holding you hostage, you find yourself needing something to enable and help you get through it. And we found ourselves in this place, and abuse came in, and we couldn't tell nobody, and we quit going to church. And I found myself one night in a bush fighting for my life, running from abuse. And I would never tell anybody where I was, because I had always said, if a man ever touches me, I'm getting my frying pan. I'm going to beat his tail. But when you find yourself in a situation like this, you find yourself not the person. That's why some of you are shocked right now at yourself, because you're really asking yourself, how did I get here? Who are you? And how did you get here? Like, you're not even the person that I thought you were. You're looking at yourself and feeling like there's somebody else looking at you, because you have lost yourself in the fight. And I find myself at this place, and I remember what really had happened was And I remember after I had called my parents and asked them to come get me, which was the most humbling experience of my life, because you think nobody knows what you're going through, but really people do. You know, you think you're faking it till you make it, but you ain't faking anything. And so people had already known what I was living in. I just didn't know they knew what I was living in. And I remember in that season having to call my mom and dad, and just that pride going to waste. I lost my house. My daddy told me, he said, Kimberly, he said, your name's all you got, your credit's all you got. And overnight, I couldn't even buy a piece of cheese with my credit, okay? I was in this place where it's not like, have you ever been to this place where you're going through something detrimental, like that expectation of, you found yourself at 36 years old, and at 36 years old, you were supposed to have a boy and a girl and a great bow chicka wow wow and a company, and you were supposed, your life ain't looking nothing like it was supposed to look. This was not in my plan. And you find yourself having to start all over again. How many of you had to start all over again? Did you know it ain't that bad? Can some of you say that with me right now? It ain't that bad. Starting over, the thing that you feared the most, when you finally came face to face with it, it just ain't that bad. In fact, it gives you a chance to do over. It gives you a chance to do better. It gives you a chance to not go over here and spend all kinds of credit. It gives you a chance to start tithing so the devour's off. It gives you a chance to reset. It just ain't that bad. Losing your cars, losing your house, having to move back into a 10 by 10 bedroom the size of your walk-in closet at your mom and daddy's house, just ain't that bad. And in that season, I lost everything, and at that moment, I thought it was that bad. And I would lay in bed at night, instead of singing, you're a good, good father, I'd be, you're a made father. Oh, I was so mad at him. And I would let him know every day, you lie, you lie. I was blaming him. Why would you let me do this? Why would you let me marry somebody? He said, I never told you to ever marry him. I never one time, you never one time, and I'll never forget thinking, oh, I never one time told you. You never one time asked me, am I supposed to start this company? You never one time asked me, am I supposed to marry this man? You have done it your way your whole life. And now you need to pull your big girl panties up and you need to get through it. And you either gonna get through it or you're gonna stay stuck. It's all up to you. I am a gentleman, and I went, I put the stars and the moon and Saturn and billions of people. I can do anything I want to do, but I can't do nothing without your will. And I found myself at that moment like, ooh. And I heard him. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. For 36 years, I was waiting for God. Preacher's kid, UPC. And I was waiting on God to say, "Lo, Kimberly, go to the rock." I thought it was going to be like this majestic earth shake. When I heard him, I thought I'd just be like, yeah. I was waiting for that. And I found out in this season that God, He talks to the heart. That's why He keeps you cluttered. That's why He keeps some creditors calling you. That's why He keeps those friends, those toxic termite friends calling you. Because as long as your mind is cluttered, you're laying awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're like trying to find your place and trying to rule the world. And all of a sudden, now you're tired the next morning. You're cranky. You're angry. You get resentful. You're over here stalking people on Facebook that walked out of your life after you did so much for them. You bought them stuff. You paid their mortgage. You took them soup when they had the flu. You did all of these things for them, and they walked out on you. And now every day of your life, instead of deleting them and blocking them, you're over there putting your heart back in the hands of somebody that destroyed it and praying for a miracle. This is all a plan from the punk devil, because he can't touch you. So where he gets you is right here. We don't even read the Bible no more. It's got dust. The only thing you know about God is what the preacher tells you. Because you don't even open the Bible, because I can't even understand the dust, these and the those. You know why? I used to lay hands on myself. I was in special ed my whole life. And the one thing that I had was in special ed for was because I couldn't retain what I would read. And I used to tell the devil, you're going to wish you would have mess with somebody else, because I'm going to figure out how to retain some stuff. And when I do, now I ain't even got to open my Bible if I don't want to, because it just flows out of me. Blessed is a man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. Oh, I lay hand when I open my Bible every day and begin to read, because I'm intentional about reading my Bible. I get up every morning, even when I don't want to get up, and I'll spend 30 minutes in the presence of God, just sitting there rocking back and forth and listening to what he said. And at night when I'm sleeping, I got my earphones on my ear as it is over there charging, and I got the YouVersion app on. And that man, honey, for you single ladies, all the single ladies, you need to go download that YouVersion app. And that man in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, in your ear, blessed is a man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the seat of the sinner, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. And all of a sudden you're like, and you're prophesying, I'm about to have a man like this in my life. And while you're sleeping, your spirit man is getting charged. And all of a sudden, the little petty Crocker spirit that's on you's gone. You don't care what nobody's saying about you no more, because you're strengthened in your spirit, because you're helping God help you. You're preparing for what you're praying for in the spirit. You're not allowing little things that bothered you in 2017 to come into 2018 with you. No, you're saying, Father, laying hands on yourself every day, saying, Father, right now in the name of Jesus, I renew my mind in you. Lord, I give you permission to let go of these things that I've been holding on to. Lord, give me the courage. We'll come up here and pray every single Sunday for our finances. And we'll reject the 1-800 number calls coming in. You owe the money, but you can't pay it. So the enemy's got you there too. I used to do it when I went through my divorce. I was like, I lost everything. My name, my husband, my kids would hear me crying every night. Little boys that needed their mama. And I didn't just lose everything. I had to go get a job making $9 an hour at Belk, and it's like a Kmart on crack. And then I went from a Mercedes to a 300 Chrysler that was like a knockoff Bentley. Like it looked like a Bentley on the outside, but that thing had me tore up on the side of 75 every day. And I found myself in this season, I'm just laying there. And I just told him one night, I said, God, I said, take this pain away from me. He said, I can't take it away from you. You got to give it to me. And he said, I need you to get to a place. He said, you ain't got no more friends. How's it feel? Because I'm separating you on purpose. I'm hiding you for a season. Because people know how you used to nay-nay on a bar. They saw how crazy you were. Now I'm fixing to watch. They're going to watch as I bring you up out of the ashes. It's going to take longer than a year, and you've only given me a year. Because I said, God, I'm giving you, listen, I'm black, but I crack. And I'm 36 years old. And I'm going to start melting any day now. Because white people melt. We melt. Like our skin just starts doing it. Y'all like 100 years old. And you're like, I'm 100. Y'all look like y'all 20. And I said, I'm going to need you to get moving now on healing my heart. I'm not going to uncover myself, but I'm going to need you to hurry up, because I don't want to be on my honeymoon, because I know you're going to give me another man, because I am not going to have to wipe my own behind at old age. Okay, God? And I said, I'm going to need you to hurry up with this heart situation, because I don't want on my honeymoon to be like, hello. I said, so I'll give you a year. He said, all right. I said, I'm going to give you a year, and then I'm going on BigRancher.com, BigDaddy.com, and eHarmony.com. He said, you go ahead and keep doing what you're doing. How's it working for you? And he said, if you walk on this process with me, and you put a do not disturb up on my heart, and you quit stalking people, you got to get off of it. You got to hide everybody. You got to go invisible. I went, invisible, like for real? Like, I've built this world over here, and you want me just to poof? He said, poof. Because what I'm about to do in your life is going to be a game changer. And all these people that have been judging you, they only going to be able, they can see you, but they can't touch you. I started putting a do not disturb up on my heart. It was so lonely. I ain't even going to lie to you. It was so lonely, because I was a social butterfly. And I just lonely, and I lay in that bed at night, and I would just be like, oh. And I didn't even really have a prayer in that season. And I would just lay there, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Because I knew that life and death were in my words, not in my bishop's word, not in those people that were talking about me word. They're all lying on me now. They're all talking about me now. And I can't even defend myself. So I got to have at least opening my mouth and saying something. Because for my whole life, I had prophesied the doom and gloom that I was in because I was so critical. And a critical speaking mind brings forth poverty. I need all of this broken off of me because I don't want to be at a place every time a storm comes, I fall in a million pieces. I want to be able to look and stay focused and razor sharp. And I want to blow your mind. I want you to be so proud of me, God. And I want to be proud of myself. So while you're in the fixing business, I need you to take care of the people pleasing spirit off me. Because people pleasing is what's keep your behind bound. Because you care more what people think about you than what God knows about you. You're over here high-fiving yourself. You done ran around your house 5 times with the word God woke you up with today. You done high-fived yourself. You're like, want to do it. You can't wait to get on Facebook and post it. It's fixing to have 1 million likes. You get on there and post it, not 1 like. And that's the reason the enemy's gonna get you, because we care more about the life. I remember when I opened up Twitter in 2009. And I went on Twitter, and I was always a people pleaser. I was always trying to be an Ann Taylor, and God created me to be a Betsy Johnson, okay? I am crazy, and I'm proud of it. I will drive you nuts. I'm in your face. I'm like, ah! When I'm laughing from my toes. And I said, I want to get to a place where I ain't got to condone that. I don't want to have to dull my shine. I want to just be so free, God. I need to be free. And I went to open up a Twitter because I didn't have nothing else to do because I have no friends. So we were just on, building a Twitter. I was like, I don't think I like Twitter. And I went on Twitter, and this was in 2009. And I went on Twitter, and this was about 4 years into my healing process. I was starting to feel free. Oh my goodness, I had gone from Belk, Kmart on crack, and I'd had to walk into that store, and I remember walking in that store, and I said, God, I'm not working with people. I hate people. I hated people. Every Christian I'd ever been around was a hypocrite. And I just didn't want to play that game no more, so I just didn't like people at all, so I sheltered myself in a world. But see, here's what God does. He said, where I'm taking you, when you're 40 years old, I'm going to need you to like people. Because what I've called you to right now, you running everybody off in your life. You for the last 17 years have told your husband every day, I don't need no man. And he said one day you woke up and you didn't have one. So in this season, I need you to get to a place, honey. Because where I'm taking you, I'm going to need you to love people. I'm going to need you to love them like your favorite hobby on the planet. I'm going to need you to love thumbnails, millions of them, and they're going to feel your heart. You're going to bring unity to every kind of culture because they're going to feel the love that I walk with. So I'm going to start right here where you put yourself. You put yourself here. You made some decisions that got you back at your mama and daddy's, and you got yourself where you got to go get a job now because you married the only man on the planet that can't give you no child support. So I'm gonna need you to go get a job. I was mad. Oh, I'm not walking up in the Belk. I'm not gonna be I ain't retail. I went from a $500,000 house, and you're gonna make me go to Belk? I'll never forget walking into Belk. And they said, man, we got the perfect job for you.